Hello. So, we've got update 3 coming up, and I need to get a few things finished. Though, I'm done with everything that I really needed to get done. This is just final things. Alright. So things on my list. I want to upgrade the hits, the high hit and the low hit, to be more centered. Right now it's not exactly how I'd like. So let's boot it up, take a look at it. There are also some pretty nasty coding sections here and blueprints for the actual hits. It's pretty bad, to be honest. Okay, well, let's start with the high hit. So let's high hit active. Alright, I need to write down what this stuff even does. So what are we doing for this? We have these on. I thought we had these off. Alright, low hit reflect. Yeah, alright, well. That's a problem. I thought we had that off. Though I guess that's why I was seeing it trigger. I swear I checked it. I must have only checked the low hit and been like, oh, everything's fine. Alright, so what we got is we'll high hit the ball. So what we do is we get our facing direction. Okay, so one, we get our we get a vector from our center to the hit location. Let's see, we use the Z for it, since we use the up and down. We use the Z component of this to affect the direction. Okay, so what we also got here, so we have our hit direction Y though. Our hit direction y is our facing direction. So that's regardless of how fast we're going. We then get our velocity and we add the sign of our movement. We see if the direction that we're going okay, so 2, depending on if we're moving the sign of hit direction y. So hit direction is going to be the vector to that. So if we're moving in the same direction as the ball is moving, then we take the hit direction, we normalize it, we add in our velocity, we normalize our hit direction, which is the y is our facing and z is our diff. So let me see. And that's after it's normalized. So for us to hit it straight, we have to, yeah, makes sense. And then we set our high hit force and everything else in there. Otherwise, when we reflect it, what we're going to do, we're going to, what are we adding in? We're adding in our velocity here. We add our velocity to the hit. Multiply by hit force, add our velocity to the hit. Okay, so it looks like we add all of our velocity to that. We're not just breaking it up. Alright, so when we're reflecting it though, what are we doing? We're taking our hit direction, we're reflecting based on our surface normal, so if we are moving the other direction as the ball, we reflect the direction, which is, we reflect our hit location so if this is where we are, and this is our hit, so we hit here, so we've got this vector and we're moving in this direction. We're actually going to reflect the vector based on our movement direction, so we'll go like that. So if the ball was coming at us, it's now, and from above, it's now going to be reflected below. So we're damping it. All right. So we preserve some of that. And our high hit force and hit multiplier, I mean, should we be reflecting not based on our velocity but on our hit? I'm actually pretty okay with how the reflection hits work right now. So I think it's just this, and I think there's two places. So our velocity z is getting added in there, and our z is also a normalized z here, so that's going to be, if our hit, like if we hit this guy, we're going to have a higher z. So what is the, The problem that I have here is that, like, the z is 1 here, and then, like, at 45 degrees it's 0.5, but it's not a linear thing. It's real fucking touchy. So, like, what happens in this arc is actually incredibly imprecise. So what we want to do basically is we want to take this arc and make it a different calculation so it's not quite so damn finicky. So we could multiply it by itself, so like 0.5 times 0.5, and we get like a 0.25. And what will happen is this curve should go kind of like that, but it'll actually kind of go linear and fall off, I believe. So what we want to do is take this z and multiply it by itself. So that should make that smaller. And I don't think we want to add in the z of our vector here. So we want to take this, let's break the vector, and let's make a vector, but let's not carry over anything but our y. Or we can do like a z multiplied by something. Let me do that by z-damp or something like that. So 0.8, let's do a 0.25. Alright, well, let's go try this out real quick. I think I want to print out this z that I'm actually adding in here. I'm going to have to clean up this mess of wires that I got here. Alright, so hit Z is 0.34. Is our location the bottom of our character? high hit center location. This is also going to make it always positive because math. Alright, so I need to take this and multiply it by the sine of this. So we can just do that. Because I was confused as to why. Why? So that's negative 0.1, negative 0.1. I mean, that's what I would expect out of this thing. Alright, well, it looks like it is this guy, so why don't we actually just try making this more exponential. So that should flip its sign all the way back. Okay, so it looks like what's going on here is the closer you get in here, like if we're like right on the ball and we hit it, our Z is 0.1, 0. Point 4, 0.1, 0.03. Well, I need to feel this. Point 5. Like, those were real close, so why don't we see? Why don't we take even more out of the, let's just set this Z here to nothing. 0.25? Yeah, just like, let's just 0.1, you know, something absurdly small. No, it's still that. It's still that this vector right here, the high hit center location with the actor location, so it's our actor's position, and this guy is having an undue effect on this thing. So the problem is when the character gets really close, like when we're really close here, like this is where our ball is and our character's center, is that this is as we get closer, it's a lot easier to get, and then we have this small distance here has a huge magnification. So I guess maybe we need some sort of curve where this, as it goes out, gets more influence, and as it comes in, so we need the distance of this. We can just divide it by the distance, or we can multiply by, like if it's within 100 units or something, it'll be 0 or whatever. So we fade it in from 0 to like 200, maybe a linear fade. So how do we do that? So we'll get the length of this, and we will divide by our distance. So why don't we do high hit, let's see, this will be like distance fade. And then we need to clamp that between 0 and 1. And then we need to multiply that by that. This is a big ass multiplication thing here. And the high hit distance fade, let's make it 100. We'll see what that does for our stuff. And this is a bunch of mess. After I fix some of these calculations, I'm gonna have to go back and actually make that not just a spaghetti mess of wires. Yeah, it's feeling a lot better. It's still finicky, but it's a lot smoother. Yeah, I was not able to get anywhere near that sort of accuracy before. Ball hit Z was 0.72. Yeah. Let's just make sure that this is actually working here. This distance fade. Let's put it something much larger, like 250. Alright, so let's see how that goes. That's all compiled. Alright. Negative 0.5. Alright. Yeah, alright, that's feeling a lot better. I mean, it's still got that, like, you need a controlled shot, but the rules, I think, are a lot more intuitive. Like, yeah, that's how I want that move to be used. Is basically it's up and then bam, you just slam that right in there. And that's been something that I don't think has been. It's been way too damn hard to do because it's not obvious where the hitbox is, and it's especially if you have a lower frame rate, you're pretty much fucked. I'm all like moving my head too. I'm like, get it. So we got those mirror neurons firing. Yeah. It still does the air hits. So if I pop it up, let it come down, yeah, it's still doing what I'd like. Yeah, alright. Doesn't send it doesn't send it at such incredible, ridiculous velocities. Alright. That's looking and feeling a lot better than it was. Alright, so our offset Y is 100. So what I probably want to do is I want to take the vector length of our offset and do something about that. Alright, I like that. That is a lot better feeling. Alright, so I think we'll just leave the distance fade in there. That seems fine. So let's take a look at the low hit and see what we can do with that. So the low hit, we've got it so it hits it up. Pretty much regardless. And the air, if we do a low hit, it hits it down. That's what it looks like. It's kind of counterintuitive that when you're in the air, it hits it down. And when you're on the ground, it hits it up. I mean, I guess, what would I rather want this thing to do? Like, that one is a clear, which honestly could use more force. Why don't we give it a little bit more juice on that ground pound? Alright, so that'll increase that. So I mean, let's think about it. If I was in like the forest level, that would send it pretty much right into there. But if I was on, if I was on the night level, I should do something like this. I should jump into the arena test level, put together a little area. I'm gonna jump into the night level and go grab a stump. And let's throw a goal in here. The problem is you can't really get high enough for that to matter. Like if you can't just pop it up in there, like you'd have to do something like that. Crap. How am I gonna get this ball over? Like that? No. I mean, at that point, you're just better off hitting it straight. So, I mean, what would we want that to do? I mean, I'm kind of... There we go. I should probably lower some of this garbage here. I mean, it's almost better just to use the punch then, like, because it's got that straight shot and the down coming real nice for it. Maybe if it wasn't quite so. I mean, it's not awful. Maybe I don't really need to do anything with that. Let me try it using the controller. Yeah. Oh wow, yeah. That's a lot easier to hit. All right, so I think that's actually fine. I think I'm okay with this. All right, so I think that's good. So why don't we try to clean up some of this horrifying mess that we have going on? Maybe that might be a reasonable thing to do. Start with one of these guys. So these reflections, we don't like them. They're garbage. So we might as well just take them out. Like, so there's high hit. Where's low hit? There it is. Enable low hit reflections. Any references? No. Alright. This is the low hit. Alright, so if we're on the ground, we do all this crazy shenaniganry. Otherwise, we reflect. There should be no X direction. And the big issue with a lot of this is just how much stuff is not using local variables and how much is just drug all the hell the way everywhere. That's our big issue. And the problem is all this is custom logic for every single one of these hits, so I can't really consolidate everything because we actually, I might be able to get some of it with the physics. So what would it be? It would be this player v ball auto, get ping, local hit, hit ball on strike. Okay, so why don't we try to make another function here, and we'll call it strike ball. So we're gonna need the entity actor, the ball, alright, so when we get this, it'll be the striker, the ball, second entity actor, we need a BP bracken sack ball. So we got the striker, we got the ball. We're gonna need the position and direction, and then we need the player proxy. I guess we have the player proxy here if we pass this in. I mean, we could just get the followed actor from here. Alright. We have position, we have direction, and we have force, I believe. So this will be a vector, vector, and a float. Alright, so we'll need a local variable here, which will be the hit velocity dir. This will be a float, a vector. Alright, so on strike should take the normalized direction. On hit by player, so we should take the player proxy. Don't we already know who we are here? Yeah, we already know the entity, so we don't need to take the striker here, because that's us. Let's just snag all this and throw it in there. Alright, so that should strike ball. It should get our stuff, set the velocity properly, get the ping on local hit, tell the server that we struck the ball, and no, that's just entity actor. Player controller. Let's see, where are we getting the player controller? Get player proxy. Alright, the object actor is the... Just do one thing at a time here. So on local hit is supposed to go the ball, Dashkin object actor, so that's the ball. And anything else we can pull out. The ball v player auto could be something we could snag out. What was this taking? It was taking the position and the force. Alright, so what we can do is basically, instead of all of this stuff, if we just hook up this strike ball command, we need the ball,